What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're not doing an Outriders video but rather something different. I wanted to share with you the 3 games that I'm looking forward to the most that are coming out next year in 2022, and what is of course making it really interesting is all 3 of these games actually come out in the same month. In fact, they come out literally within 2 weeks of each other, and it's crazy that February is setting out to be this powerhouse month. And I just really don't know where I'm gonna get the time to play everything, but I'm gonna definitely give it a good try. So without any further ado, let's look at the first one. Now, I'm doing these in the order that they come out in February, so not in my order of preference, although it kind of almost works out that way. The first one is Lost Ark, which comes out on February 11th. I think it's February 9th for people that have the founders packs, but essentially Lost Ark is like a combination of if you were to have a baby from World of Warcraft and Diablo. I don't know, that's like the best way that I can describe it. And I know that this game is very near and dear to a lot of people that I'm friends with that have been waiting for it to come out for a very long time. But the reasons why I'm looking forward to this might be a little bit different to theirs and might be a little bit different to yours. But for me, the thing is, one of the things that I really like is having a game that essentially always has something for you to do, and that is like a guilty pleasure of yours that you can always return back to and play. Now, traditionally MMOs have been this for me in the past, but my problem with MMOs stemmed from the fact of, like, you know, if you play it with a group of people, with friends, you know, something like that, and you miss a week or 2, or you need to take a break, or you go play something else, then you kind of fall behind, or you might get some FOMO, you might be missing out on something, and so that's it. So my feeling about Lost Ark at the moment right now is that while you have this huge amount of things that you can do in the game, a lot of it is that you can do at your own pace. It is a free-to-play game, so you can essentially commit as much time to it as you want without feeling guilty for having dropped 60 US or 80 US or whatever, something like that, depending on, of course, of, you know, whether you spend money on the founders pack. Maybe you feel guilty there. But the point is, I think that it's for me, it's going to be a game that I can always fall back on, and because it has such a huge amount of characters at launch, and more coming to the game as it runs, because it does have new characters added all the time, and because we will be starting without some of the characters which are already available in the Russian and the Korean version, there's definitely more content coming to the game. It means that I can do what I usually do with games like this, and that is build a character of each class, play each one, experience the game from each one of those angles, try melee, try range, try a combination of it, and I can dip my toes into something like PvP. I can dip my toes into raid, and I can do that all kind of like at on my own time, because that's just what the game makes me feel like. It feels like something that I can just get completely obsessed with for 2 or 3 months, then go away for a month or something like that, go play something else, and then come back, and it's still going to be there waiting for me. But that's basically the reason why I'm looking forward to Lost Ark. Plus, it's just a really good looking fucking game. So super excited for that. And as I said, that is on February 11th. Next up, or number 2 if you want to, is Horizon Forbidden West. Now, I keep calling it Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, which is completely idiotic, but of course it's Horizon Forbidden West, which is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, when Horizon Zero Dawn came out on PS4, that game blew me away. I really like the open world. I am a fucking dinosaur nut, so and I'm a Transformers lover, so you combine those 2 things into one game and you have me like day one. But it was a really cool game. I like the story as well. It had some let's say stranger parts to it which weren't that great, but generally the story of Aloy and exactly how the world ended and how they ended up at, you know, the place where you were in that game, and how it all connected to the real world was really interesting for me. And I like the lore of the game and diving into it and learning about, you know, the different dinosaurs, or rather, you know, the mechanized dinosaurs and why they were that way, and just essentially how everything fit together. The combat in the game was super tight for me. I like the combination of range combat, and that you could work traps into it as well with some of the different gear pieces, and because it also had this way where you could farm out these mods, and so you could constantly be looking for mods and combining them in different ways on your gear to make it better. Plus, it had a really good new game plus, which let you get even more powerful gear, And there was a lot of optional stuff in the game as well, where you could do hunts and all kinds of things like that, where, you know, you didn't have to do it, but it would reward you with great deal. But all in all, the game kept me busy for a really long time. And then when it rolled around on PC, I literally replayed it all again. I did the entire game through again. I did a new game plus, and I did a second new game plus, and I enjoyed every step of the way. The game also got a piece of DLC as well, and that was also phenomenal. In fact, the DLC is probably one of my favorite parts of the game, because it was in certain cases so tough, and the new monsters that came in with that were really good. So that's all about the old game. I haven't said a word about you know, Forbidden West, but for me, Forbidden West just looks like everything that I just said right now, just dialed up to 11. So just more of it. So I'm super excited to see how the world develops now. They certainly, in the most recent trailer, has shown that they're going crazy now with the type of enemies that you're going to face. So you of course now also have the ability to go underwater, which is a completely different biome, and you have different, you know, mechs, or I keep thinking of what to call them, but you know, dinosaurs. Let's just go with robo dinosaurs. You have different ones there as well, but there also seems to be a larger verticality in this game as well, where a lot of it is now climbing up. You have essentially this grappling hook that you can use to also move around, and it also looks as well, gauging from some of the footage that we've seen, that they've really expanded on this trap game and being able to throw out traps and everything like that. So of course the original also had a skill tree in which you could level up in different ways, picking different skills, and you could favor like a more stealthy approach towards, you know, essentially meleeing stuff a lot. So that's really going to be interesting. But more and more, it's just more Horizon. The world building that these guys do with these games is amazing. It's beautiful looking. I'm not gonna lie, this was the reason why I wanted to get a PS5 as soon as possible, and this was of course before the release date was announced. There was a time when we thought the game was going to come out in 2021, and this made me really panicky, because I didn't want to be in a position where I couldn't play it when it launched. Luckily, that's not the problem anymore, and that's definitely a game that I'll be bringing to the channel. I'm super excited to play it, and that is Horizon Forbidden West. I keep getting the name wrong, and that's on February 18th. So the third and last one, that also a game that's coming out in February on the 25th, is Elden Ring. This is a bit of a controversial choice for me, because me and generally these you know, everything or nothing, get better or die trying kind of games don't mix well. I've played them all. I especially loved Bloodborne, Sekiro recently. I mean, recently, it's been out for quite a while, but Sekiro was phenomenal. And there's something to be said for these games that I think from a playing perspective versus someone watching it perspective, they're both engaging in a different way. It definitely, you know, there's a learning aspect to the game which is phenomenal to both experience, but also to see someone else go through. And that is as they figure out patterns and they figure out bosses, and they figure out how to play the game, how to get better at the game, and then essentially break through these barriers where you have a boss that you've died 10, 15, 20 times on, and then you finally, you know, get to kill them. There's a certain kind of exhilaration that comes from that only games from software are able to do. And to me, Elden Ring looks like I wouldn't say the final evolution of this, but definitely the fact that it brings the open world aspect into it now is super appealing to me. I really like the world that they've built with this. This is a game that I've devoured on the internet, and I didn't feel guilty about it. So I've watched 20 hours of footage, or 40 hours of footage of people essentially recording 2-hour playthroughs, 3-hour playthroughs, and playing this. And I've just engorged myself on this because it's first of all such a breathtaking world to look at. I love the animations in the game, the combat, everything like that looks on point. The big battles that you see with dragons and all this stuff looks amazing. The traversal, it's just, I think it's difficult to call it like that, and I certainly wouldn't be the first one to say, but there's a very big chance that we can already look at Elden Ring and say that it's probably the game of 2022. And I know that is a super hot take, and we're not even in 2022 anymore, or yet, not anymore. And also because, first of all, I'm not even that much of I wouldn't call myself a From Software expert, or, you know, relatively very good at any of those games. So it's really like a provocative thing for me to say, to be honest. But everything that I've seen so far, it would have to go so drastically wrong once we have the game in our actual hands, or the majority of people are able to play it, and things would have had to change so much from what we've already seen. And remember, there are people that have spent 40, 60, 80 hours with this game already. So it looks phenomenal. It looks like it's going to play phenomenal, and I like the idea of a game making me learn its mechanics, making me get good, essentially, to be able to play it. And that for sure is Elden Ring, which drops on the 25th. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Those are the 3 games that I'm looking forward to the most. I could have easily made a list of 15, but I don't think any of you have an hour to talk about this. I'll leave it for the streams, which of course happen on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 8 o'clock CET. So come check me out over there. But let me know in the comments down below which games you're looking forward to in 2022. And I'm sure that they're probably going to be some of the ones that I've mentioned, but they're probably going to be some of the other games which are also coming out in February, which is just, again, like I said, shaping up to be a ridiculous month. Like the front half of the year, or even the front quarter of the year, is so loaded with games that even if you don't buy them all right at the start, you're still going to have an amazing game to play every 1 month, essentially, until the end of the year. So that's phenomenal. It's a great time to be a gamer. I can't wait, and February just cannot come around fast enough. I mean, it's less than a month and a half away, so it's super fantastic. But like I said, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to, if you agree with my choices. But more than that, have a fantastic morning, a great afternoon, and a super awesome evening wherever you are in the world. And until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.